And I picked up the phone, I called Planned Parenthood, help me out here, give me your best arguments. And the best arguments were, well, if you get it, it's just a clump of cells. If you get it early enough, it doesn't even look like a baby. We're clumps of cells. And that unborn human being does not look like a baby the same way a baby does not look like a teenager. A teenager does not look like a senior. But that unborn human being looks exactly the way human beings are supposed to look.
You were once pro-choice, but you became very clearly pro-life. What was the turning point for you? When did the switch click for you that said, this is a human being?
When I looked at some medical books and saw the scientific evidence ahead of me. As I mentioned, I was baby Christian for such a long time. Even though I was a Christian, very pro-choice. I always have, and I will continue to fight for women's rights. And so even though maybe I wouldn't have one myself, who am I to impose my beliefs on someone else? It's a woman's body. It's her choice, after all. When I really realized that I was on the fence, I dove into the medical books. I dove into the scientific research. What I learned is at the moment of conception, a new life comes into being. The DNA, the genetic blueprint is there. The sex is determined. The blood type is determined. The unique set of fingerprints is there. And I picked up the phone. I called Planned Parenthood. Help me out here. Give me your best arguments. And the best arguments were, well, if you get it, it's just a clump of cells. If you get it early enough, it doesn't even look like a baby. We're clumps of cells. And that unborn human being does not look like a baby the same way a baby does not look like a teenager. A teenager does not look like a senior. But that unborn human being looks exactly the way human beings are supposed to look at that stage of development. And this human life continues to grow and change. Some people say, well, if you get it at a certain stage, it's okay. According to the law of biogenesis, all life comes from pre-existing life, and each species reproduces after its own kind. Therefore, human beings can only reproduce other human beings. So it doesn't start out as one species and suddenly become a human being somewhere along the way. And some people say, well, it's a woman's body. It should be her choice. There's a 50% chance the baby she's carrying is a male child, and he would have a penis. Women don't have penises, so it's residing in her body. It is not a part of her body. And the bottom line is, I really believe if the unborn is not a human being, have as many abortions as you want, whenever you want, no justification is necessary. If, on the other hand, the unborn is a human being, no justification is adequate unless another human life is at risk, that being the mother's. But in that case, you're not acting to kill, you're acting to save a life. And I also believe that when an abortion takes place, there are at least 2 victims. We cannot be condemning women. Women have been so hurt by this, and they're not given all the facts. And especially as Christians, we need to be so careful that we are not condemning her, because by doing that, we can turn her away from, oh, well, this person and their God, and they're being so unkind. I don't want to have anything to do with their God. And not only that, they'll tell 10 friends. So it's an issue we need to deal with love, but I believe we got to get politics out of it. We need to put this in the hands of science. Even if you don't share our faith, an atheist can know that it's wrong to take an innocent human life. That's why I don't mind imposing this on other people.